Hey guys, it's Cece, and today is Wednesday, which means it is Top 5 Wednesday. So, Top 5 Wednesday was created by Ginger Reads Laney. I will leave all of the necessary information below, as usual, which you can check out. And the theme for this week was Top 5 Chapter Headings. Now, this has been interpreted to mean the way the top of a chapter looks, just the general, the design of how the top of a chapter looks, along with the titles. I have decided that I'm just going to do my top 5 chapter titles this week, just because I had a lot of fun looking for some of my favorite chapter titles, and that's what I decided to do. Also, you're going to notice that most of these books are middle grade books, and that is for a specific reason. Most books after middle grade don't do chapter titles. There are a few, and I looked through my books and I know there are a few, but I definitely had to go back to my middle grade books to find some chapter titles that I really love. So we're just gonna jump right in. Coming in at number 5. The chapter I picked for number 5 comes from 'Levin Thumps and the Gateway to Fu by Obert Sky. This is a middle grade fantasy series with 5 books in it. My chapter that I picked from 'Levin Thumps was chapter 14, which is called I Can See Clearly Now My Head Is Gnawed, which is literal, by the way. That is, there's an actual person in this book, especially in that chapter, whose head gets gnawed on. For reasons I won't tell you, because it's better if you don't know going into it. Coming in at number 4. I picked a chapter from The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. This is, again, the first book of a middle grade series. One of my absolute favorites when I was a kid, because this is slightly tougher than most middle grade books. It's slightly more advanced, and it took me a while to get through, but it's an absolutely gorgeous cover. I love the way this book looks, and it's about really advanced children who were spies, but it's not like they're all sneaking around. It's because they're all really smart. I don't know. I loved this series when I was younger. But the chapter that I picked from this book is The Trouble with Children, or Why They Are Necessary. And I love this. This chapter title totally sums up what this book is about. The fact that children are seen as problems, but in this, they are necessary and they are needed and they are respected for sometimes having crazy childish ideas, because sometimes those are the only answers. Number 3. So for number 3, this was one of the ones that I immediately knew was going to be on my list. I had to have a Percy Jackson chapter title. That's just like a rule, because Percy Jackson has the best chapter titles. I haven't read Heroes of Olympus. I hope it continued into that series. Actually, I kind of want to look now. Okay, I won't. But it has great chapter titles, and I knew that I wanted to get a chapter title from Percy Jackson, so I just stuck with an original, and I chose a chapter title from the first book, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and I just chose the first chapter. Chapter 1 of the entire Percy Jackson series is I Accidentally Vaporize My Pre-Algebra Teacher. That's chapter 1 of book 1. And I love it because it lets you know exactly what you're getting into. You get the tone for the book within page 1 and you're totally sucked in. I love the chapter titles in this book, and I love how strong they start off. You know immediately what you're getting yourself into. Number 2. For number 2, I chose one that's not just my favorite chapter title, but one of my favorite chapters in the history of books that I read when I was a kid. It's from Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. This is a young adult fantasy book. It is about a girl named Meggie, and she discovers that her father has the ability to read characters directly out of books, but the catch is that when he reads them out of books, someone must go into the book to take their place. This is a great series, but my favorite chapter title and favorite chapter of the series is Chapter 4, A House Full of Books. I think this series would also fall under the requirement of, chapters that I find beautiful or aesthetically pleasing, because every chapter in this series comes with a quote usually about books underneath it, but sometimes about the situation. My favorites are marked up here. But A House Full of Books is a chapter where Meggie and her father show up at her Aunt Eleanor's house, and Eleanor is a bibliophile, and her whole house is filled top to bottom with books. And I read that chapter describing her house when I was a kid, and I was like, that's the goal. I just gotta get there. I'm working on it. And finally, number 1. For my last choice, I knew as soon as I heard this exactly what my top choice was going to be. I even knew which chapter I was going to pick, and I picked Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, and the chapter I picked was Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. This just immediately gets me nostalgic. It reminds me of the first time I read this series, and it always brings back such amazing memories of The Boy Who Lived. What a beautiful way to start a series. That chapter just, it's full of so many memories. It's my favorite chapter title of all time. So there you go. Those are my top 5 favorite chapter titles. I really enjoyed going back and reading some table of contents for books I haven't read in a long time. Like, I was looking through the table of contents in the Fablehaven series, and I looked through some from the Eragon series, but I had so much fun looking through all of these, and this was a really fun week, and I'm really glad it was fun, because I needed a bit of a pick-me-up in the middle of the week. If you have a favorite chapter title, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Guys, it is July 1st. I can't believe we made it through June. We are halfway through the year, and we are halfway through the week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!